Like most humans, you probably work, live, and play in a city. Navigating the streets of your city every day, you're affected by the way the buildings are designed, the way the trees decorate the street, maybe a billboard, maybe some public art. Your mood, your creativity, your day, and therefore your life are affected by your environment. So we'd like to open the platform tonight to ask you how you think your environment affects your brain.
Moving back, after 15 years of respective adventures, Lisa and I met. And our stimulated, traveled minds felt something was missing in our homeland. Inspiration while navigating the city in our daily lives was amiss. Every city has artistic, creative communities, but it's the way that a city decides to express itself or not that makes the difference if you want to go and visit and take a selfie, or if you want to move there and make a life in. Let us tell you how this lack of color in the city to which we came back affected our shared brain, and why we still have this unstoppable force in us to make this a place that is cool enough for us to stay.
And keeping in mind that we are by no means professional scientists or neurologists, we just know a little bit about using our shared brain. As most of you know, the brain is divided into two hemispheres, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. The two halves of the brain process information completely differently. The left hemisphere is used for logic and analytical processing. You're using the left side of the brain when you are following street directions or thinking with words.
The right side of the brain is known for emotional perception, intuition, creativity. And so when you're singing, you're painting, you're dancing, you're using more of the right side of your brain. But the biggest difference between the two is the visual aspect. No one image or splash of color can be fully experienced without using both sides of the brain. But you do not, however, need to have studied art history, or you don't need to know color theory to be able to get lost in a painting, in a poem, or a moment. Experiencing art has been shown to release cortisol, which in turn relaxes the nervous system, calming the viewer and leaving the viewer more empathetic and inspired.
It's not fully understood how color affects the brain, but we do know that our happiest memories are the most colorful memories as well. To put it into perspective, in contrast, the survivors of the 1995 Kobe earthquake in Japan describe their experience as having full loss of color in the most traumatic parts of the quake. Cities with transcendency that are physically beautiful are the places that we want to live. They're the places that we fall in love with.
We eat, sleep, breathe, dream this stuff.
But we by no means are the same person. We just share the inspired brain. So to bring you up to speed with our shared brain, we'd like to have an exercise with you and ask you to close your eyes. Close them. While we ask you to internally answer the questions in the following pop quiz.
Okay, so all those eyes are closed now? Okay, good. So if your city was a product on a shelf, would you buy that box o' Moncton?
If the walls of the inside of your house looked like your city, would you be done decorating or just getting started?
If your city rolled up on you and was like, hey, baby, what are you up to tonight? You want to like Netflix and chill or something? Would you accept that invitation for the date? Or would you be like, nah, washing my dog?
If you were married to your city, would you be deeply and madly in love?
If the city was a person that responded to your roommate ad, Would you invite them into your home, have them live with you, or would you just keep strolling along on the old profiles, you know? All right, you can open your eyes. So, this here is my partner, Lisa. And let's just say, for this little thing we're gonna do right now, that she'd be the left side of the brain.
And this is my partner, Matt. And for this exercise, Matt's going to represent the right side of the brain, which he does most of the time. The following exercise is an example that gives the reasons why each side of the brain might say public art is important.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh yeah, and we thought we'd rap about it just because we can.
More resilient and fresher economy.
Color and art culture for you and me.
Safer streets and less scary back alleyways.
Inspiring walks to work and safer days.
Greater density, more chance for fame.
Greater propensity for singing in the rain.
Because talent attracts talent again and again.
Oh man, I love my artistic creative friends.
More diversified population demographics.
Connected community and days filled with magic.
Creation of socially inclusive public spaces.
People-filled parks and spontaneous conversations.
High quality of life, eroding judgment devices.
Through art, we can get out of this economic crisis.
Recycling urban assets into productivity, bringing the city to a new longevity.
Building it up through creativity, bringing our city into divinity.
Transform existing assets to make you look again.
Thriving city center like it was with the train.
Better downtown life and happy residents.
From punk rockers to diamonds, oysters, decadence.
Permanent and self-perpetuating cultural infrastructure that functions at its own individual pace.
A growing metropolitan feel without the rat race.
Without the rat race.
No rat race. Yo! Can we start again? Thank you! We wrote that ourselves. That's original right there. So the last time we were here, TEDx invited us to drop off a couple of our bins in the lobby. That was our first project that we did in this public art movement. Well, since then, we've used those bins to throw out some ideas. So some of those ideas that we've thrown out is that the grass is always greener somewhere else.
So instead, we realized that Moncton is full of blank walls, which to us means blank canvases. This is the best place to be.
Okay, this one gets my goat, okay? I know you've heard this. We've thrown out the idea that we live in a have-not province.
Because actually we have a lot here, and one of those things is an amazing, artistic, diverse cultural community.
Something else, we didn't do it too much before, but bitching and not doing anything is gonna get something done.
So instead we took those complaints and we turned them into real and tangible projects, like a week-long arts festival called Inspire.
We've also chucked out the idea that change isn't gonna hurt just a little bit.
Because it does. We lived in a dining room for 2 years with no food.
Dining room, just full of papers, and yeah,
No food.
empty plates. We've also stopped expecting people to understand contemporary muralism as a movement.
Because when we first took our ideas to potential sponsors and to the city, and even to anybody else we were talking to, we said, you know, murals and art. And they said, graffiti?
Oh, no, graffiti, no. And we've also chucked out the idea that what we do doesn't really matter.
Because no matter what project you're working on here in the city or any city anywhere in the world, it's the residents of a place who make it what it is. Cities are full of people, and people are all incredibly diverse. But one thing that we have in common is that we all want to feel like where we are is exactly where we should be.
So we took some blank walls, found some partners who also believed in what we were doing, and we engaged some artists. we started a festival called Inspire to celebrate these very changes each year.
We called it Inspire because we thought that Inspire would, if we had the festival, then we could inspire people in the city to be more themselves. We could inspire the city to come alive. But instead, the city turned around and the festival turned around and started to inspire us.
So we're going to show you a few pictures of a few of the installations and the pieces that we've done in the city. And we'd also like to share a couple of anecdotes or quotes that we've heard along the way. And there's a whole list of them, but we're just going to share a couple of them with you because time's running out. So one, you changed my summer. Okay, we were sitting at a cafe, we were having a meeting. A woman comes up to us and she says, "Hey, are you guys with that Inspire thing?" I said, "Yeah, we're on the team." She said, "You have changed my summer. I don't have a piano at home. I love to play the piano, and because of what you've done, I've been able to play the piano every day."
I changed my walk to work.
"My daughter loves the murals and asks us if we can take a different route to school just so we can see them."
Have you seen that place they made downtown where people can just hang out?
So I'm working on a production, and this woman stops me. I'm like mid-stride. She stops me, and she's like, "There's a problem with the Edith Cavell mural." I'm like, "Oh, man, did somebody tag it? What happened? Was that last night? What's going on?" She said, "Well, the problem is that every time I'm driving by the mural, I slow down to take it all in. I slow down and take it all. It's so beautiful. And then I notice that there's a whole bunch of kids in the playground. And I think people might be getting the wrong idea about me."
So I'm in the grocery store. It's Friday at 6 o'clock, and I'm like, I think I knocked off. Like, I think I'm going to take the night off. And the phone rings, and of course I answer it. And it's a car company. It just happens to be the car company that I have a car with. And they want to do a checkup on the car. He said, "By the way, is it you guys that do Festival Inspire?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Is it the pianos was part of that project?" And I said, "Yes, the People's Pianos Project was part of that. Last year we put 6 pianos in public places painted by local artists, and anyone could play them all summer long." He said, "Well, you probably hear stuff like this all the time, but I just wanted to tell you a little story. I'm just about to put the finishing touches on the ring that I'm giving to the woman whom I'm asking to marry me. I met her at one of your pianos last summer."
I know, right? And then she called me, she told me this story, we're both crying on the phone. Anyway, we're just going to show you a couple of pics in the background as we go along. Some of our inspiration. This is some public art from around the world. I just wanted to take a quick second and say thank you for having us here, but also, you know, a big drive for me, what we do is to create spaces that create community. I think we really need that in Moncton. I think we need places where people can get together and congregate and meet your neighbor and talk to a stranger and a weirdo and a fun person and a businessman and everybody.
Also, it's a free country. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to be here. You don't have to be anywhere. You can wake up every morning, you can complain about the place that you live, or you can wake up and you can make the change that you want to see. Thank you.
So thank you very much.